Hello, welcome back to Awwwards Academy. I am Rachel and I'm the producer at Awwwards. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today from all over the world. If you don't know what Awwwards Academy is, it is an e-learning platform for digital creatives like yourselves, where you can find courses, workshops and live sessions like this one today. So if you enjoyed this one, which I'm sure you will, then subscribe to our YouTube channel, and there you can watch all the other live reviews, conference talks, and all digital design related goodness. So I think it's time to meet today's jury. So hello, jury, show yourselves. We're ready for you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
good
everybody.
to see you, Rachel.
Woo. Hello, everyone. Okay, so kicking off with the president of the jury, Jonas Lempa, partner and creative director at Taikonauten. Hello, Jonas.
Hey, Rachel. Hey, everybody. So nice to be back here online and share our thoughts and our passion with the community and emphasize with the creators and trying to give some insights about what can you do to get an awarded website. So very looking forward to today's session. So thank you very much, Rachel.
Excellent. And we've got a friend of Awwwards, Peter Smart, Global Head of Product Design at Fantasy, joining us from San Francisco.
I sure am. Hi, everyone. Rachel, I have to tell you, last night I actually had a dream. I kid you not, I'm not making this up, that we were at the Awwwards conference in Amsterdam. And I woke up and I was so disappointed because we're not all together. But this is the next best thing. It's so great to be here with the community. I can't wait to be all back together whenever that is.
Oh, hopefully next year. So also we are joined by Liva Grinberga, Associate Design Director at AnalogFolk. Hello, Liva.
Hi, guys. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited about tonight's session.
Oh, we're very excited to have you on the show, Liva. The last time I saw you was at Awwwards conference in Amsterdam, 2019.
That was amazing. That was actually, I think, the last event before the entire world went on a lockdown, but it was such a great experience. Actually hosted by Peter. Peter did an amazing job.
That was fun.
You did a lovely, really good talk, Liva, how to design for your brand personality, that we had a really great feedback on YouTube. So I'm going to share the link to that so people can watch the talk after this. All right, so I'm going to let you get on with the website review. Remember, everyone, put your questions in the chat and we'll do a Q&A at the end. And also we'll try and respond to your questions and comments throughout the show as well. So have a good one.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Rachel. Again, hi to the community. Hi to Liva and Peter from all over the world. It's so nice to come together in these times. If it's not the conference, then at least with this wonderful live jury website reviews. And today we are going to look at Studio Regale or Regale. We still don't know. Maybe Victor can help us out from the chat. A small studio from Amsterdam doing beautiful things. You also need to check out their agency website. It's really inspiring, and we are very pleased to talk today about Aesop's aromatic candles. And for people who don't know what Aesop is, actually, it's kind of a really strong brand of offering skin, hair, body care solutions or formulations, as they write on their website. So really wonderful brand, and also very specific prices. Let's say it like this. But we are very pleased to talk about this really unique website today, and really looking forward to that. Liva, do you want to mention our highlights today?
Yes, well, as you already mentioned, the website is absolutely amazing and so beautifully done. So what we want to talk about today is a little bit about its look and feel, about illustration style, user experience, UI, animation. That's absolutely mind-blowing. Performance, sound design, navigation, and product pages. It's going to be a very exciting session.
Totally. I mean, especially the mixture of all these things make this as a absolutely unique experience, and especially the sound design. We'll talk a little bit about that very soon. But before we are jumping into the actual website or the video, the campaign video, the awards team also took an analysis of this website in regards of performance and different opportunities to improve. A small wrap up. Please take your time and look into it because it's a great opportunity to learn and to see how even awarded websites can sometimes a little bit improve. But before we are jumping into the website itself, what do you think? Should we take a look into the video of this campaign, since it's very important to bring us into the mood, right?
Oh, 100%. I think if you've not been to the website already, don't go just now. Stay and watch the video. So much, I think, of this experience is set up by this video to begin. We're going to talk about it. So yeah, let's do it.
Whew. What an atmosphere, right? I mean, I love this style and this look and feel. Reminds me of these old school point and click adventures like Monkey Island and Prince of Persia back then as a DOS game. Maybe there's somebody who still remembers that, but this is a really impressive introduction, right?
100%. Monkey Island. I had forgotten that. Thank you, Jonas, for helping me remember Monkey Island. I wonder how many people who are watching even are old enough to remember what Monkey Island is. But it's such an atmospheric way to start a website like this. You know, we're going to talk a lot, I think, about why we've interpreted the creators of this website and this brand and the decisions that they have. But regardless of like our interpretation, this intro just does set such a wonderful stage and an atmosphere, I think, for the rest of the site.
Definitely. I was actually making a joke that from now on, this brand will associate me with seagull sounds and waves. Such a strong intro in general. Beautiful.
Great. So then let's jump into the website itself. We are opening up the Aesop Aromatic Candles website, getting introduced by a language switch or language choose. Well, I mean, let's start with English, I guess. Maybe we can try other languages later, but let's jump into that. And one thing what is very important is that they're giving us an intro, right? The video, the actual campaign video, is coming after this splash screen, and find a quiet spot to spot free from distraction and settle in. And I hope we could provide this. So from this point, let's jump into the website. Welcome aboard, traveler. So obviously we are travelers becoming part of this journey, and trying to cross the seas to discover them in more detail. All right. We're having here the video again, which I'm going to skip now. And we have here a quote of Apollinaire, which we are going to tell a little bit more about pretty soon. But Liva, what is your first impression of the website?
I honestly really love the fact that there's actually a quote that introduces you a little bit with it. It reminds me, the quotes actually do remind me a little bit of like a lot of old Swedish sayings. There's a little bit of a connection in there. So I thought it was super nice. And I love that there's a lot of guidance before you enter the actual experience. I feel like we don't really experience that much anymore because we assume that everybody knows how websites work. But in here, there's these extra steps that actually tell you that you're actually gonna have to drag a little bit and find a quiet spot, because this is such a unique experience. And I really appreciate that up front.
I think it really forces you to slow down. And I think we're going to talk a lot about mood, and again, like the reason why they're doing and they're using so many of these techniques and what makes them successful or not successful. But I think the overall feeling that you get when you step into this experience, even if you're looking at this on your mobile, and maybe if you're watching along, like, you know, watching us on your desktop, pull out your mobile phone, like go and navigate to the website on your mobile and just listen along to that as well. I think in today's world, we are so quickly like looking for information. We're looking for the reason, we're looking for the payoff. And I think this whole intro is designed to just make you slow down so that you can really start to engage with the topic here. And I see a few people in the comments are asking about like the inspiration behind even like this look and feel. And that was something that you know, Jonas and Liva, we were talking about prior. Someone asked, do you think this is inspired in any way by Aesop's fable? I asked that question this morning, and then Jonas dropped an absolute knowledge bomb on us and told us all kinds of really interesting things or interpretations of the look and feel. Is it worth spending a moment, Jonas, on just some of the look and feel pixel art inspiration that you were talking about?
Sure. I mean, it was pretty late last night, so this is probably the reasons why I got all these different thoughts. But I mean, we have here this wonderful landscape, and Aesop is naming these candles like old astronomers, like ancient astronomers, and well, there's some kind of the connection back then when the nautic topic and sea and the ocean was something like, let's say, for us today, traveling to the Mars, yeah, and getting inspired and getting this Fernweh or Wanderlust, or however you want to say that. And I think this is a very mystique look and feel and topic. And also the Apollinaire as a poet is part of surrealism. I'm completely honest, I needed to check that. But the ocean is also like one of the main fragments of surrealism art. And I think maybe we are interpreting it way too much into that. I would love to be part of this creative process to actually define the style. But I mean, it's also part of the thing to have the freedom to think about these different possibilities. Yeah.
And what we're here to talk about is, you know, why is this an award-winning website? And you know, the first question we can ask ourselves is this website perfect? Like, is it the best website we've ever seen in our lives? Probably not. But is it really good? Yes, it is. And it does something to you as a viewer. And I think that it's so much of like these choices here are the things which make it an award-winning website. It's that thought and attention to detail into tying together, I think, you know, this concept of Ptolemy, this like ancient mathematician and astronomer, with the sensitivity in like the artwork style, like even into the way that you navigate and like how it just feels like so surreal. So many of these choices like are intentional choices, which again create a feeling. Even if you have no idea what Aesop sells, what it stands for, you can start to pick up on like some of that brand message just so well, because I think that, you know, the Studio Regale guys, this is such a great job in capturing like some of that essence. I don't know what you think, Liva.
I think one thing that really blew my mind was the fact that in the all experience, there's no kind of like a second class element. Like, for example, the stars are flickering, the lights are flickering on the surfaces, the waves are hitting the rocks. Everything has this specific, unique place found in there. It was amazing, because usually, like, we all get lazy at some point, but you don't really see that in this execution.
Yeah, in combination with the sound. I mean, you guys can't hear it yet, but if you're going to experience this website later by your own, of course, enjoy the sound. I mean, there's so much detail to sound design and how it gets you into an atmosphere. And I think, Peter, you said something very, very strong, is that this is a great website, or a really good website, but we had some trouble to actually understand what is the purpose of this website. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to identify, okay, is it just an experience, or how do I actually get to this website? What do they want to achieve? And I think we will have a lot of different thoughts on that, and we'll elaborate on these too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also just conscious. I mean, we've got a ton of people here who are watching, and we're just 3 people looking at a website. We would love to know in the comments what you think of this site. You know, we're waxing lyrical about Ptolemy and philosophy and, you know, sound design, and all of that could be amazing. But we would love to know, like, what do you guys think? What are your questions that you have about this site? What do you think is amazing? What do you think isn't, you know, is less than amazing about this experience? I'm seeing people who, you know, who are mentioning in the chat, it's a little laggy. Yeah, it's going to be a little laggy here over YouTube in this first little piece. It'll get less laggy as we go on. But write in the comments, if you were to try and, you know, score this yourself, like, what would you give it, and why? We would really love to talk to you about that. Jonas, where are we going to go next?
Yeah, one addition to that, maybe at the end, Studio Regale or Regale can enlighten us at the end and tell us what's actually the purpose, or what is the motivation of everything. But as you can see here, there's some beautiful hovers and great areas to really explore. And I think maybe because I'm an old school gamer or whatever, but I'm just in love with this style, and having really the possibility to click into the details, which we are going to do here with the aromatic candles. Getting into the next section. And getting a shorter campaign video here, which is actually introducing the candles again, which I would like to skip at this point, and getting to the introduction of the products. And as we said, here are the ancient astronomers, which are also the products' names. So definitely interesting intro. But Liva, what do you think about the user experience and the usability to get to these areas?
Well, I do love the UI that they're using to get to these experiences. I think there's a lot of attention to detail, but overall, I do think that the experience in general is a little bit linear. I do found it quite hard to navigate the entire site because of that reason. Because as soon as you go down one experience, it's really hard to go back. You have to go back to the world and then scroll through and select a different product, for example. But other than that, I think I really love the little beautiful elements that there exist. For example, you have that little dot on the cursor that literally inverts its color or changes whenever you're experiencing, for example, new loading or something like that. So that I felt like it was really strong and beautiful.
Yeah, the love to the details is really, really impressing. And
Yeah.
in this point, we're getting actually introduced to the product, getting through different areas. For me, I had the feeling that it was it's a little bit odd because in the first world view you can actually only navigate by dragging, and here in this area you can also scroll, which is like a little bit of an inconsistency in the user experience, which is definitely something which might be optimized. But since Peter said that maybe all these things are there to slow you down, I can also imagine that this is on purpose and maybe not necessarily a usability flaw or whatever. But Peter, what do you think about this introduction of the products, and how do you feel also about the purpose?
So it's really interesting because I've definitely got my interpretation of what this site is all about, and I think that if I was to guess, and yeah, definitely the Studio Regale guys are actually in the comments up on YouTube, and I'm sure they're going to be able to answer for us. For me, I think this website is mainly designed to launch these products, right? And it's probably designed to be a press oriented page. They're sending people from the media to come, and find out about the philosophy of these products. What I think is really, really interesting is if you look at the percentage of pixels in this website that are actually used for the products themselves, it is a very, very, very small percentage. So much of this website is everything other than the products. And so what's fascinating about this, and for anyone who's designing websites, there are some really interesting things to learn here about behavioral economics. To double click into that for a second, what we're talking about here is candles. This is a little pot and it's got some wax in it. That's a candle. Okay. But what we're doing here in this site is we are elevating, we are tying something much bigger to this pot with wax in. We've got this experience, you've got the experiential layer, and that is the pixels, the sound design, but then you're tying it into something even bigger than that, which is an idea. You're tying it into a philosophy. You're tying it into a noir moment in time that speaks to the soul. And suddenly the value of your wax in the pot goes from the cost that it took to make it to the actual perceived cost for something that exhibits so many of the qualities that I think the creators of this product and this website are hoping will really resonate with you as a human being. And so what I love about this site is that it can teach us some stuff. I think it can teach us about, but so many of us are designing e-commerce websites. So many of us are building websites that are designed to show off a new product, a new service, a new experience. So much of this site does a great job of actually expanding the world of the product to mean more than just the product itself. So that's my interpretation of this site. And so my lens when I look at so much of this behavior and design choice, I believe is because that's the kind of intention in mind. Maybe I'm off my rocker again, I don't know, but that's my starting point.
I mean, Liva, please.
No, that was awesome. I was like, wow, you just inspired me. No, yeah, I agree with you. It's an amazing piece of work, and you would never think that would be something that's an e-commerce in general. That's why it's so unusual to have such a linear experience and not have specifically an overview of the product as we're used to. It's a beautiful story that's more important than actual product. We don't really see that often.
Yeah, and I think also it kind of fits very well with the Aesop brand communication or marketing communication, how they like to make these products as something really, really special. You're actually not buying a product; you're buying more or less a lifestyle, yeah, and kind of an impression, yeah, and having the courage to combine these products with a very unique campaign style and look and feel impresses me more and more, especially because we all know that there's always, I mean, the designers and clients relationship is a very healthy one, of course. We all know that, and if you have this healthy relationship, then it's also possible to create things like that. So let's finish always. Let's end bashing the client always, like he didn't want to do that or she didn't want to do this or whatever. But it seems like a really great collaboration to create actually something like that.
Yeah, I think you picked up on the right word, Jonas. It feels courageous. Like it feels like they didn't shy away from taking some risks. Did all of those risks pay off in this website? No. Like there's still parts of this site which I think we'll pick up on, and people will see. And it's not going to be the best website like to every person, but it's courageous. It is something which clearly knows what it is, clearly knows the philosophy, and it wants to see that philosophy through right from the high ideal down to the pixel. And it doesn't hold back. Like it doesn't like pull its punches in terms of we want this feeling to be the thing that we leave with people. And so overall, just huge props to not only the studio, but also to the client for being courageous, for being brave, for doing something which is different. That maybe, to your point, Liva, like you're side scrolling and you're scrolling down and you're side scrolling again. Like it can be a little bit jarring at times, but I think at the same time, you can kind of appreciate the fact that these guys took some risks and they really did put their heart and soul clearly into like so much of this site.
I think the sound design for this site is something I definitely fell in love with because it's such a unique experience and it adds so much and such a strong kind of presence in general as a sound, because the world itself had a very separate feeling, and then as soon as you dive into these detailed pages, you have this very mindfulness, calm kind of music that complements the entire experience in general. And I even love that you can have that on a Spotify. I was like, has to the list.
That's true. Yeah, we'll find this little gadget later. But having a kind of a comparison with the night masks, I would also like to introduce, for example, the very same structure, but completely different content. And I think this is also a very interesting approach. Like there is some kind of overall look and feel with this pixel art thing and the nautic topic. And now we have here, for example, a completely different visual style, but it still feels like a same atmosphere. It's somehow still the same movie, but it's still the same let's say topic, but just a different movie. And I think this is very interesting approach. Maybe for some of the users, the spread, the delta is maybe too much. Like at the beginning, I also asked myself, well, why is the style here now so completely different? But when I see the moon and these colors and how the products are presented, it somehow makes a lot of sense. Still, I'm missing a call to action where to buy this product, actually, right? so we are learning so much about the brand, about the purpose, about the product, getting super excited, and then at the end, it's somehow I'm not able to somehow participate with this website or with the product, and I think this is also something I'm still missing. But you can see here, for example, the same structure but a complete different different feeling, right? So, Liva, what do you think about this atmosphere, this structure?
For me, because it's the same structure, for me, I was missing a little bit opportunity of navigating the intro video, because I'm going from the world's video to like an intro video, and that kind of takes a little bit of a time for me to figure out where's the CTA to skip it, and then it takes a little bit more time for me to actually land in there. But then the visuals are actually really beautiful, and again, complementing the sound really well in there. But I would personally, being impatient as I am, would love to get quicker to the product.
For sure, for sure. But I mean, at the end, let's try to emphasize also a little bit with Studio Regale. I mean, it seems like a great product, but somehow also maybe some time limitations, because they reused somehow the same theme. We all know that. Okay, well, we get in some time troubles potentially or whatever. And what can you do with the same structure but different content or just different CSS styles or whatever to really give the same thing a complete different different feeling. So and I think this is a really good example of what is possible in a context like that.
I can see that Koa from Studio Regale is in the comments, and he's saying he must be so stressed right now. He's saying, I'm in a super important meeting, and in the background, we are critiquing his studio's website right now. He must be one of the most stressed people on the planet. We will we'll keep being nice. It's a really, really nice site. I have to admit, like when I got to this part, it was jarring for me that swap in style. I think to your point, Jonas, initially, I didn't understand. I felt like everything up until that point had been so stylized and so of a certain set of choices, from the art direction to the typographic choices, that it almost had very deliberately shied away from photography. So to get to a section here where not only the photography is kind of introduced, but it feels thematically similar, but like somewhat different. It was jarring, like in that moment. And again, I wonder if, how much control the Studio Regale had around the campaign work ultimately, which kind of is housed inside this shell of a website. It feels like the Ptolemy, product launch, for example, all feels like it was part of the kind of course concept. And I wonder if it's been extended or something like that to launch other products like this one here. But like so much of that same, use of behavioral economics is used very much here. There's very high design. The photography is just stunning. You can see people talking about this in the comments as well. Like this in and of itself, like is a stunning set of choices. It does just feel a little bit like it doesn't quite mesh with the rest of the site. Like that was my interpretation.
Look at these small details, like for example, just one comment. Look at these small details, like this cursor, like this circle is closing or getting less and less by how much you're scrolling this website. I mean, these are the things which, as designers, getting pumped up, right? Having time and the possibilities to create things like that is just like wonderful. But Liva, please, your thoughts.
I was about to compliment exactly the same thing. Like I'm absolutely in love with UI animation on this site. For example, the way typeface is animated, mixed together also with the sound is absolutely beautiful. And all those tiny attention to details and all the hover states and how the cursor is changing is just, honestly, like when I was looking at it, it made me so happy, because those are the things that you definitely want your website to do. Like those mini fun, delightful moments. They've done it to perfection.
There's a challenge in the comments, which is actually, it comes from the studio. It says, how long, it's almost like a bit of a Go on, guess. How long do you think it took us to make this website? What would you guys guess?
I don't know.
You don't want to go too long, and you don't want to go too short, do you?
Yeah,
for me,
now it's like
I would guess maybe between 6 to 8 weeks, something like that, like somewhere in that range. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think one indicator of that. One indicator is that we had this. Sorry, we had this. We had at the beginning this performance check, and this is sometimes like kind of an indicator that maybe there were some kind in a prototyping phase already in the already in front end, trying things out, and then maybe there was some kind of situation. Well, maybe it's not possible anymore to clean up everything. I also couldn't find any CMS behind that, so I think it's also many things, or content is also kind of hard coded, I guess. So I think there was some kind of time pressure with that. So I think that 2 months would be. I think 2 months. 2 months is a good time frame from briefing to first staging.
I said 6 to 8 weeks. Someone in the comments said 6 to 7 months. So surely it's going to be somewhere in that range. What do you think, Liva?
I would say 3 months is a minimum. I would think so. I have to be honest. Cool. I'm so curious to know, how long was it?
I think we're going to find out as soon as they put something here in the comments. I think we can all see who was closest. Great. Oh, this is contentful. I thought you said confidential. I'm like, you can't ask the question and tell us it was confidential, man. There's a few things that I think is really worth like picking up. You mentioned, Jonas, the CSS and like just some of the prototyping nature of this. There's some really interesting things to pick up on, like even in the side scroll experience, just from a small details and CSS perspective, which are really just interesting to look at. I think one of them is just the scroll like behavior of this. As you scroll, and we're going to talk about mobile in just a bit, but as you scroll, like in that top section, I'm going to call it like a window pane, like folds in from the top and the bottom, like in that top piece. I don't know if, Jonas, you want to go back to like the main, nautical area here. And that's just a really, really interesting little technique. They didn't have to do it. Again, like that's a choice. They could have absolutely not brought in the window boxing there, but it does something. It forces you to like focus in like on the text. Yeah. It's telling your eyes to go like, look here, because you're in this like moment of discovery, and we're talking about Ptolemy. We're talking about discovery of like new worlds. It's all about that moment when you spot something. And your eyes focus, and you look in, and you see what you're supposed to look at, and then you go there. That one tiny little bit of CSS, like that one tiny little thing, actually plays on what we as human beings do when we're like surveying a landscape. Our eyes just focus in, like when we are we spot something. So it's really clever. Like it's just the smallest little bit of code, but I think that it creates such an amazing feeling. There's lots of those little techniques that you'll see here. I don't know if Jonas or Liva, there's other techniques that you're seeing in this like category of discovery in this top section, which are interesting to you.
I love the UI at the center that kind of goes into the clockwise movement and shows you where exactly you are and what you have still got to explore. I thought that was beautiful. Yeah, right there. And I also really, really enjoyed that tiny, tiny, tiny little detail. When you hover something, you have the explore CTA kind of creating larger circle and that small planet circling around it. It was, for me, it was a very, very beautiful cherry on top from the attention to detail point.
I mean, again, right? This top thing fits again to the whole topic of astronomy, exploration, ocean, and things like that. And when you look in detail, you can even see like it shows you that maybe you are even in a lighthouse, in a second lighthouse, and actually changing the view and you always have like kind of this specific focus. I mean, it's very unlikely that there are two lighthouses next to each other. But anyways, I mean, we are here. We are here on a very artistic in an artistic world.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know the answer to how long it took? They've
Yes,
posted
please.
it here in the comments. Everyone can already see it. I think we're late to the party. It took them 5 weeks. That was the duration. 5 weeks, which I think is staggering. I think given the like high concept, high art, translation actually into a website that actually is performance somewhat, and you can scroll through it and it's responsive. Five weeks is an incredibly good, incredibly fast amount of time. So yeah, I feel like any and all of people who are looking at this site, little pieces that you might pick up on where you're not sure about, like, was that the right choice? I think you got to hand it to the team. 5 weeks is an incredible effort in that amount of time.
And this is also a great indicator that the team knows each other and can kind of trust each other. And I mean, this is also the beauty of small studios or small teams, having like this kind of trust, and as well as this instant inspiration translated into something tangible. And I think this is very, very, very lovely. And I think also, and we discussed that probably, I mean, this website actually is even better on a smartphone. Yeah. So really you have kind of this scrolling feeling, this, I mean, very simple parallax of effect, but I mean, it's getting really, really exciting in the mobile context. And what I really like is how they solved, because we don't have this hover here, which we know from the desktop view, is that they put the actual CTA always next to the actual visual, because you could also put it here on the lighthouse, but they really wanted to give these things space to shine, yeah, and to really give an opportunity to really let all these small details sparkle. I'm missing this kind of navigational round thing here a little bit, because with the smaller screen, it's much more to explore. In general, the navigation concept is some kind of tricky, but yeah, I mean the combination of what happened here on the smartphone is or on the mobile view is really impressive.
But maybe it was even a maybe it was even a better choice of actually removing those extra elements like navigation on the top, just to make it a lot more cleaner, a lot more easier. Because I feel like if they would have that would make it a lot more cluttered. And because it's such a small screen, maybe you would miss a little bit of that experience. Now, when it's so clean, I feel like it's a lot easier to kind of scroll through and have a look.
Yeah. No, totally. I think this feels like the site was conceived of mobile up. And again, I think it speaks to, or it allows us to ask the question, who is this for? Who do they think the intended audience is that is coming to this? And therefore, what choices have they made to prioritize what sort of devices? And of course, it works nicely on desktop. I would say it works even better. It feels more at home. It feels more native, actually, in a mobile environment. And someone asked in the I'm just reading some of the comments here about how fast it was and how few people did this. I'm going to jump off my talk track just for a second. There was a team of 4 people who did this, all working simultaneously together. Prototyping, dev, design, working simultaneously over 5 weeks. That is amazing. Hats off to you guys. That is so cool. So yeah, just to kind of jump back on, what I like about this is it asks some provocative questions, which is, what if this thing is trying to help you buy? Where are the CTAs? If this thing is ultimately about e-commerce, What was the success of something like this? Does it make the sales of a product more or less successful? And I don't know, again, like if we have all of that full context for the audience, and therefore like what is or what is not a successful experience, and did it really achieve the goals that Aesop had really given the team to achieve for them? Was it all about brand building? How are they gonna, I don't know, I think the question is like, how do you measure the success of a site like this where perhaps it's not so much about sales?
We can find that some indications about this thing when you're navigating through extras, and having one specific website which we really love to see, or subpage which we really love to see was the special thanks site, and there's also a small indicator of the purpose of this website. Liva, what do you think about that?
I love the specials thank you, but I think it's beautiful when the brand shows gratitude for everybody being involved in creating something. You don't see that often anymore. I think it was very big part quite a long time ago of the websites, but not anymore. So honestly, for me, that was a very, it made me very happy going like, oh, look at that. Brand is thanking you for creating this. That's amazing.
Do you remember when every website, like every studio would put at the bottom of the website they designed, like designed by like fantasy, designed by like Media Monks? It was always there. Like it was always down in the footer, like a little badge. You'd also put in like that you were hosted by a certain company, hosted by Media Temple, like stuff like that. I don't know if you remember that.
Really?
Yeah, no,
I don't remember that. I remember.
This is definitely a blast to your point, Lee. This is a blast to the past to like acknowledge the studio that were part of this, and clearly, I think what we could guess from this is that there was a good partnership. You'd hope, right? Like between the studio, the client, and that it could result in something as polished as this in 5 weeks, which I still can't believe it was only 5 weeks.
Yeah, and the special thanks section, there was also the hint I found, like welcome you on Aesop Press. And that was the moment when it made sense. Well, okay, that's why they're talking about press kits all the time and getting some kind of background information and things like that. And on the one hand side, it's also a kind of a missed opportunity to really like kind of giving some kind of context for press people, but at the same time letting ordinary people enjoy that, because I can imagine that people who not necessarily can relate that much with immersive experiences like this, or with experiences like this, you get lost. Yeah, and also press departments of different agencies in this world. Also sometimes not the most. You need to connect to them, and getting a page like that, you can miss actually the purpose. So it's always, as you said, it's always very important to know for whom is this website, how can we address that, and how's the actual optimization for, right? So I see here a little bit of a missed opportunity, but nevertheless, I mean, it's a great, really great experience. And with that, I also would like to ask you, both of you, let's start with Liva. What is your overall impression of this website, and what is the shout out you would like to do for the studio and for this website?
Well, I'm triple impressed now that it happened in 5 weeks. But overall impression, honestly, as they mentioned in intro, like you need to find a quiet place and enjoy that with a mindful and calm music, because it really is an experience. It's an amazing experience that creates a very strong connection with the brand. Also, as I mentioned, I probably every time I'm going to see their products, we're going to think of seagulls. I am not even kidding. But it's absolutely amazing. It is a beautiful website. It's an amazing piece of art. It's completely understandable why it had a linear experience, because as we already discussed, it was specifically meant for press. And honestly, I want to shout out to you guys too for creating these amazing UI animations. They definitely inspired me. And wow, 5 weeks. Amazing.
Peter, what are your final thoughts on that?
So I think for me, I love websites like this. It's not that I think that this website is the best website I've ever seen, but I love this experience, and that's the word that I want to use. This is what I talk about a lot. So much of what we do as designers these days, like, it's not about user experience design. It's about something different to that. It's about like user like transaction design or user like data mining. Like, so much of ultimately like our experience of the web today doesn't maybe live up to the amazing thing that we get to be as designers, which is to create experiences. And so when I come to this site and it does slow me down, where that sound design does like speak to me in that moment, where it does like cause me to want to explore, to find out who Ptolemy is, to like dig in, that's an experience. And to do that, isn't easy. That takes, I think, years of not only practice at your craft in being able to create beautiful pixels, but I think it also takes years of really thinking about the power and the opportunity that we have as designers to create magic for people. I think that these guys had a lot of fun making this, and it really made them excited when they were designing it. And I think that as a result, you feel excited as you experience it. And so I love so much of what this speaks to, not just for Aesop, but I think for everyone who's watching this. This is the sort of opportunity that we have as designers to, if we're having fun, if we're enjoying, if we're putting our soul into something like this, it will be felt by the people who experience it on the other end. And like, what an amazing privilege that is, knowing, you know, just how we get to impact people. So yeah, I would just definitely agree with so many of the compliments that Liva gave. And yeah, like down to the smallest detail, I think that these guys have done a fantastic job. So props, congrats.
So great to hear, definitely. The one thing to add to that, I mean, what made me very, I was impressed by how, I mean, we all know like e-commerce websites are marketing pages, yeah, and I mean, there's always some kind of, or campaign websites, there's always some kind of struggle between total experience versus conversion and usability and things like that. And I think it's really, really hard to combine these two things. And I think they did it very, 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 very unique in a unique way. If it would be an e-commerce solution, I would definitely click on the buy, or at least we would even go further, really interacting with the call to action. And in this context, I was impressed from the first time how experience and e-commerce things are combined, because this is always a tricky thing, being or creating a solution between, let's say, numbers and emotions, and yeah, as designers, we have the possibility to solve these things, and I think that was made very, very, very lovely. I think we are a little bit at the end of our time to look at the details. First of all, Peter, thank you so much for your insights and your feedback. We will now have Q&A together with Rachel and the community. So welcome back, Rachel. Thank you.
Hello, guys. I just want to say that was amazing. Like, from the very beginning, the video was a beautiful start, and the way you described the site and all of your feedback was really great. So like, that was awesome. It was so great to see everyone in the chat. We've got the studio in the chat, so there was like a parallel conversation with people asking the studio and all the users. So that was a really wonderful experience. So yeah, we're going to go to some questions that we've got. One for Liva. Can this be considered as a good shop experience?
Probably not. As we already discussed it, I don't think that type of a template should be used for e-commerce, because I feel like it would be quite hard to, I'm sorry, I have a background noise. I think it would be quite hard to, for example, find a way of actually purchasing the product, but as an experience, it's an absolutely mind-blowing experience.
Okay. Anyone else want to comment on that?
Yeah, I don't think it was designed with that purpose in mind, and I think that although it's talking about a product, I think in this case it's definitely about the philosophy behind that product, so that people would definitely members of the press would write about it, talk about it, and ultimately like that would lead to sales elsewhere. But yeah, this probably isn't designed for the press themselves to buy.
Okay, another question. Do you think this experience felt connected with the Aesop brand?
I honestly need to say that I don't know the whole Aesop visual language, but I checked it and I saw nowhere kind of this pixelated Monkey Island world. So I think it was a very campaign-driven visuality. But what they are doing is really nice, that when you're going into the products or into the product detail pages, you have these elements, you have the color scheme, you have the font, and so on and so forth. So all these little pieces of a design system, which brings you into a brand world. So I think it's very interesting, very clever combined. On the other hand side, I'm also sure that because the Aesop brand is a pretty strong one, is that the brand department was maybe not super amused about everything, but these are the chances of us designers to combine worlds, and I think it's a very clever way to combine campaign with general visual style of a brand. At the end, users need to decide how they're feeling and what is the impact the website had on them. So I think it's an interesting approach, yeah, for sure.
Okay, awesome. And another question, what can people starting out in e-commerce learn from an experience like this?
I think although this site itself isn't explicitly made for e-commerce, I do think there's a lot of techniques that this site uses that does elevate the overall feeling of, importantly, price of this particular product, and starts to create more of a perception of actually what it is that you're buying. So much of what we buy isn't actually the physical thing. It's you're buying into the experience, you're buying into the brand, you're buying into the lifestyle, you're buying into what that tells others about you. And I think that this site does a really good job of using so many of those techniques. And so when you think about the power of great design, down into the craft of the smallest details, what you're speaking to there is the quality of your product. When you think about the look and feel and the art direction that they've used here around the product and tying those things together, putting the product over that look and feel, what you're talking about there is a deliberate choice about style, about things which would or would not resonate with certain individuals. And so I think there's a lot that when you think about creating just an e-commerce shop, you could even be thinking about something which you're just starting out, you're just putting up your first website to kind of sell a product that you want others to be drawn to. So much of it, of course, is putting the right picture of your product and the right price and all of this stuff. But again, you can gain so much more, I believe, when you start paying attention to the details and the experience actually around the product. So I think there's a huge amount to learn for sure.
Okay, cool. And Victor Work has jumped in. He's a jury member who was on a show a few months ago, and talking about the smaller details. He asked, what do you guys think about those colors chosen? Do you think the colors could be different? If so, which colors? He said it took him some time to make the connection between the brand colors and the colors used on the website.
I actually really enjoyed the colors used on the website, if I have to be honest. I think for each product, they were selected really nicely, like that dark blue with that light yellow, like worked really well. And that light colors actually is the brand color, right? And then the supporting ones were these nice, dark, deep pastels. For me, it worked really well personally.
Honestly, I need to also add something like, and I think we also discussed it quickly, is it took me a while to understand why it's so different sometimes, right? So why is this one product like very, very like clean, and the other one is blue, then the other one was somehow other artworks. And it took me a while, but since the website is created to spend some time in these different areas and to explore different details, and then I was thinking of, okay, why did they took this ocean and nautic and then the astronomers and things like that? Then I saw this kind of overall theme appear, and this was very, 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 very lovely, and it's a great combination, right? Learning more about an approach by spending more time with it, or more interaction, or having more interaction with it, especially in a context where when we as designers or as digital experts, we are scanning everything so quickly and understanding everything, and so sometimes after like 10 seconds we think that we understood the whole approach and the website and how they solved it and whatever, because of this thinking, maybe sometimes when we don't get it immediately, that means that that the website is not good, or the communication is not good. But here they did, purposely or not purposely, whatever, a great job in giving you time to think about the connecting dots. And I saw that in, well, maybe different styles, but reappearing fragments like the moon and the ocean and lighthouse and stars, and even if there was some kind of 90s style werewolf or whatever, it still gave me some kind of connection within all these brands and sub brands and product detail pages.
Okay, so it's a shame, but we're going to have to wrap up now. I imagine you could have all gone on talking for a few more hours about that, but we're going to leave it on a high. So that's all for today. So yeah, time's up. Thank you everyone for tuning in, watching all your questions. If you enjoyed this, our next live jury review is in Italian. So I think that even if you don't understand Italian, you should definitely join, because we're going to have Matteo Rostagno, Enia Rossi, and Fabio Caretti. They're going to be critiquing websites in Italian. It's going to be amazing. It will be worth watching just to see them talking. And so that is on the, that's next Thursday.
I really want to, Rachel, give a shout out to this trio, because what they are doing is just amazing work, and their opinions are valuable SF, and so please enjoy that and watch it, and maybe there is some kind of live translation. However, this is an amazing trio, so please join that and enjoy it.
Yeah, the live reviews that we've done so far in French and Portuguese, they're so exciting, because everyone who's joining, the default language for this content is often English. And it's just really exciting to see everyone in the chat feeling so happy that they're, included, and there's some content in their language that they can really get stuck into. So that one is going to be a lot of fun. So that's all for today. So massive round of applause, guys. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Jonas, Peter, and Liva.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
too,
you very
Rachel. Thank you, Liva, Peter. It was amazing. Let's hope that we are meeting as soon as possible at the next awards show, so awards conference. So yeah, thank you very much, Rachel, and hi to everybody, and thanks, community. Keep designing great things.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.